The October wind off the bay cut straight through my suit. I just stepped out of a rented sedan, heels clicking against the marble curb outside the Seattle Space Terminal, where the 40th anniversary gala for Morgan Infrastructure was already in full swing. Limousines slid up one after another, spilling out people in gowns and tuxes, camera flashes popping like fireworks. Then Claire appeared in the doorway, silver evening gown hugging her frame, a glass of champagne in hand. Her perfume hit before her words did. She looked me over once, from the scuff on my shoes to the bun in my hair. Claire smirking. "Wow, you actually came. You do realize this isn't one of your little coffee shop meetups, right?" I didn't answer. I just straightened my collar. Claire turning to Mom, but loud enough for me to hear. "Guess she's here to network, even though her company doesn't even have a real office." Linda, our mother, joined her. Cashmere wrap, pearls glowing under the floodlights. Linda, gentle voice, sharp edge. "Ava, honey, I told you events like this aren't really for people just starting out. Let everyone have a nice evening without distractions." I swallowed against the cold air, fingers brushing the edge of the black access card in my pocket, still silent. A pair of guests passed by, their voices low but not low enough. Guest one. "Who's that?" Claire's friend. Guest two. No, her sister. She does something small. A little chuckle. Then they drifted away. Claire tilted her head, that half smile she used when she thought she'd already won. Claire. "Sweetheart, sometimes it's better to just accept your place. Not everyone gets a seat at the main table." A drone camera zipped overhead, catching the moment perfectly, me standing in the cold light. The gala doors cracked open just enough to show the glittering room beyond, the security line holding firm. I closed my hand around the access card, eyes fixed ahead, waiting for the exact moment to use it. Headlights swept across the marble steps, throwing long shadows over the security gate. The hum of engines grew louder as a convoy of matte black SUVs rolled in, their armored panels catching the floodlights. The lead vehicle eased to a stop right in front of me. The back door opened. Deputy Secretary of Defense Harris stepped out, scanning the crowd, then locking eyes with me. The chatter around us faltered. Harris' clear, carrying voice. "Director Morgan, your table is ready." Claire blinked like she'd misheard. Mom's hand froze mid-adjustment of her pearl necklace. The security officer at the scanner straightened, eyes flicking between my face and Harris's outstretched hand. I reached into my coat pocket. The black access card slid between my fingers with a soft, deliberate snap. When it hit the reader, every light on the panel flashed green at once. The security gate slid open with a metallic groan, the sound cutting through the cold air like a drumbeat. Harris stepped aside, one hand sweeping toward the glowing interior of the gala. Harris, louder this time to the guards and nearby guests. "Make way for Director Ava Morgan." It landed like a thunderclap. A ripple moved through the onlookers, quick, subtle, but I could see it in their faces, the dawning realization. Claire's half-smile collapsed. Mom's perfectly poised expression cracked just enough for me to catch it. I walked forward without a word, the crunch of my heels on the stone steps sharp and steady. The line of security snapped into a salute as I passed. For the first time all evening, no one was blocking my way in. The air inside the gala was warm, heavy with the scent of polished wood, champagne, and fresh-cut white lilies. Crystal chandeliers hung like frozen fireworks above a sea of uniforms, tailored suits and evening gowns. Conversations dimmed as I crossed the threshold, not out of politeness, but because people were realizing they'd seen me before in places that mattered. Admiral Reyes was the first to break from the crowd. His grip was firm, his tone unhurried, the way someone speaks to a peer, not a guest. Reyes. "Director Morgan, your approval on the Pacific supply route saved us 6 months. Couldn't have done it without you." Behind him, General Kwan stepped forward, imposing frame in full dress uniform. "Kwan, That redesign you pushed through for the NATO rapid deploy hubs? Flawless. You're exactly who we need on the next phase. The crowd shifted, eyes tracking me now. Every handshake was a quiet statement. She's the one you talk to if you want things to move. Out of the corner of my eye, I spotted Claire near the Champagne Tower. She was mid-conversation with Senator Blake, laughter just a shade too loud. Then I caught the word, Aero Shield. That was the contract her firm had been circling for months, and the one currently sitting in my office at the Pentagon, awaiting my sign-off. I crossed the room in 3 measured steps. Senator Blake noticed me first, straightening. Me even calm. Aero Shield, that file's on my desk. My team will decide if it moves forward, same standards as every other project. Claire's smile froze, eyes darting just enough to betray the hit. She tried to recover, but Blake's attention had already shifted back to me. Blake, smiling faintly. Then I know it'll be in capable hands. I didn't need to say more. The conversation moved on away from her, toward me, and the shift was complete. From that moment, the room's center of gravity wasn't the stage, or the speeches, or even my father. It was me. I found him at the far end of the hall, just beyond the edge of the spotlight, standing apart from the clusters of admirals and CEOs. Even out of uniform, Edward Morgan carried himself like a man used to being obeyed. For most of my life, he'd made sure I knew exactly where I ranked, beneath the family legacy, beneath his approval, beneath my sister. He noticed me before I reached him. For a moment, neither of us spoke. His gaze held steady, but the steel in it had dulled. There was something heavier there now, a weight he couldn't disguise. Edward, low, almost careful. "Ava, I was wrong about you." The words didn't land like triumph. They landed like they were years late. "Edward, I called your choices a mistake. I didn't see what you were building. I should have." I kept my tone even, the way I'd learned to in war rooms where emotion cost more than silence. Me. I was never looking for your forgiveness. I was looking for your respect. I already earned it with or without you. His jaw shifted, not quite a nod, but not disagreement either. For him, that was as close to surrender as I'd ever seen. I reached into my jacket and pulled out a slim leather folder. Inside, the deed to the historic aerospace research facility in Tacoma, the one he'd chased for 2 decades, but could never secure. Me, happy anniversary, Mr. Morgan, it's yours now, fully restored, every detail exactly how you described it. He took the folder slowly, flipping it open, his hands stilled on the page. When he looked back at me, the decades of rank and regulation had slipped away. Edward, quiet, almost reverent. "Thank you, Director Morgan. Not kiddo, not daughter. A title earned in full. For the first time in my life, we were standing on level ground, and we both knew it. I didn't linger. The speeches were over, the toasts made, and the contracts everyone cared about were still exactly where they had been when I walked in on my desk, under my control. I shook the hands I needed to, each grip carrying the unspoken weight of "we'll be in touch." Admiral Reyes gave a slight nod that meant more than a standing ovation ever could. General Quan clasped my shoulder once, the kind of gesture soldiers save for people they trust with their lives. Senator Blake leaned in just enough to say, "Blake, we'll talk soon." From across the room, Claire stood near the catering station, her glass of champagne untouched, posture tight. Every handshake I exchanged was a reminder she no longer held the upper hand, and she knew it. Mom stayed in her cluster of guests, already rewriting the family history, her voice lilting with phrases like "Ava's always been dedicated to service." I let it pass. The truth didn't need defending tonight. Ethan, my longtime operations officer, was already waiting by the SUV outside, engine running. The moment I stepped into the cool night air, it hit me how different the gate looked now. The same security officer from earlier snapped to attention. "Guard. Good night, Director Morgan." No hesitation this time. No scanning. No questioning. just the kind of deference reserved for people whose presence changes the order of things. The gates swung open without delay, and the convoy pulled forward, headlights cutting a clean path through the dark. Ethan glanced at me in the rearview mirror. "Ethan, want me to flag the Aero Shield contract in the morning?" Me watching the moonlight ripple across the bays. "If it meets the standards, it'll move. Same rules for everyone, even them." The space terminal lights faded behind us, replaced by the steady hum of the road. It wasn't revenge I felt. It wasn't vindication. It was the calm certainty that the seat I'd claimed tonight was mine. And no one, not even my family, would ever pull it away again.